Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the 10th Street Journal. My name is Alan, also known as Dragosi, and welcome to day one of Amonkhet Remastered Previews. Wow, we have some stuff to talk about today. My goodness, we have some sweet cards. So, as we kind of talked about on the podcast last week, or just this past Sunday here, there are 3 days of previews leading up to release of Amonkhet Remastered on Magic Arena on the 13th. Today is August 10th, and we have the first set of previews here. Now, the card gallery on the actual page here is denied, but we will link this page here in the description so you guys can check this stuff out on your own. But we have today Destructoid and Eurogamer's previews for Amonkhet Remastered. Now, something has happened here, and we didn't expect this. I guess maybe there might have been some rumors floating around, but I try to not, give too much put too much stake in rumors, because we never know what is or isn't true. So now that we have some stuff here spoiled, we're going to take a look at some of these cards. We're going to start with Destructoids because there are some sweet stuff here. So first off, Destructoid does have the green cards for the form that are going to be released in the set, which is cool. And I will say that they didn't put any images up of their cards of the listing, so we do have some of the gatherer images here of some of the cards that I think are really sweet, are going to make some impacts here. So first off, let's talk Destructoid. First thing right off the bat at the top, Collected Company and Hornet Queen. My goodness. So Collected Company is huge. That's a big addition to the format. So we'll actually talk here. Collected Company, for those of you who don't know what it is, 4 mana for an instant. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can put 2 creature cards with CMC 3 or less from among them on end of the battlefield, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Now, this is huge. There are tons and tons of applications where Collected Company could be used. Humans, for example, could be one of those things, right? Coco Humans, you get to search up some sweet humans like Dahlia, or Captain or General Kudrow, or General's Enforcer, things like that, right? You get Meddling Mage, you get Kite Self Freebooter, so tons of awesome options that Collected Company would be used for, to just pull out of the deck to just stabilize your board or put some tax on your opponent. In addition, the other places that I think this is going to make the most biggest of splashes here is in the Spirits deck. Blue-White Spirits, or Bant Spirits, was a thing in Modern for a good while. Very strong deck in its own right. And I think that it could absolutely be a thing here. Right now, I think Spirits is kind of missing some fuel. And this, I think, is the card that's going to take it over the edge, finding Lords and Jackal Geist and things like of the nature. So this is huge. There's a ton of other implications that you could use, places you could use this as well, too. Elves gets a little bit more consistent, potentially, out of this. You could probably throw it into Goblins, because most of that deck is, 3 or less CMC. If you wanted to go Gruul for it, splash the green. This also slots probably into the green Stompy and mono green, or Gruul aggro decks as well, too. So this is huge. Tons of great options and deck building potential for this. I'm very excited to see this one make its way into the format. The other one is Hornet Queen. 7 mana 2/2 flying Death Touch. ETB, make 4 1/1s that have flying and Death Touch as well. Now, this is probably going to be, if it gets seen in competitive play, will be in sideboards potentially if Spirits takes off as a big deck. It also does make 5 reasonable blockers if you can get it down fast enough against the likes of Goblins or something like that. It can deal with things like Muxus and other Lords and whatnot. So it is potential that this could be a sideboard card. There are better ramp targets, unfortunately, to get yourselves into in the format already, but this could be one of those things that just it's a hedge against some of the wider go wide decks to stabilize, or some of the decks that incorporate flying. So this could be there. I don't expect to see too much play. It generally hasn't seen a ton of play. There are some instances where it can, but again, don't expect it to see much. But it's still very exciting to see this kind of iconic card come back. Now, looking at the rest of the cards here, we're not going to read off all of these, but there are a few that are very awesome, that are super cool, that I'm excited about, that we'll kind of cover here. Ramanop Excavator, just another one, another Crucible of Worlds, so very cool to see this card come back in here. I think it saw a little bit of play, but it is on a 3 mana, or a 3 toughness body, so it does get hit by things like a Braid or Lightning Strike or what have you, right? So it is something to consider. Now, going in here, next is Ronos the Indomitable. Now, this card I think is going to be an all-star once it hits Arena. It's 3 mana 5/5, Death Touch Indestructible, can't attack or block unless you control a creature. Another creature with power or 4 or greater, and then it has an activated ability, 2 and a green. Another target creature gets +2, +0, and trample to the end of turn. So this is a card that slots straight into mono green or Gruul aggro decks here. You go into turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Ronas, turn 3 Questing Beast, and then you just kind of get to go to town for 9 on turn 3, which is really powerful. Really, really powerful. So I think this is absolutely going to slot in straight into that. Also, this is a good, almost unremovable Luca target if you wanted to play like a Gruul Luca deck that you can flip into some big things like an Ulamog or Crater Hoof or something like that, right? So this is just one of those creatures that can get you there because it's indestructible. So awesome card, definitely going to see a ton of play, I expect. Sandworm Convergence, the next one here. This is kind of more the brawl card, but it's pretty powerful. 8 mana enchantment. Creatures with flying can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. And at the beginning of your end step, you make a 5/5 green worm creature token. It's kind of the inevitability factor, but at 8 mana, probably not going to be something that is going to see tons of competitive play. As I said, there are tons better to be doing at 8 mana or above in the ramp strategies. So, but this is going to be kind of the nice brawl inclusion. Vizier of the Menagerie, 4 mana, 3/4, lets you look at the top card of your library at any time. You can cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card, and then you can spend manas or any color to cast creature spells. So that's nice. And you can't. So it's gonna probably, if it fits in anywhere, it might fit into like a Niv deck or something that needs kind of the intensive mana to be able to cast all their spells. Otherwise, I think it's just going to kind of be relegated as well to brawl or whatnot as well too. There might be some way to break this thing, but it didn't see a ton of competitive play in Standard when it was in. It definitely saw more play and more popularity in Commander and whatnot, so I expect the same here. Pride Sovereign, 3 mana, 2/2. It gets +1/+1 for each other cat you control, and then a white, tap and exert it. You get 2 cat creature tokens, white cat creature tokens with lifelink. So can be used as a combat trick if you're blocking to block a creature. Also just allows you to play cats to you have kind of the main boss monster threat for cats, which is kind of exciting as well too. And there's a ton of cats in this set as well, so expect to see cats kind of make a resurgence, just kind of like the maybe like a tier 2.5 aggro deck or something like that, a tier 2.5 mid-range deck. But it is powerful in its own right. There are cats have a good amount of synergies going for them right now, so expect this to see some play. Haze of Pollen, 1 and a green for an instant, and it's a fog, and it has cycling, which is nice. Expect that if this is in here, hopefully New Perspectives makes it in, and then the cycling deck just kind of gets to kind of go off and be really, really good. Especially for Historic, there's a ton of cycling cards that are in from Ikoria, as well as now coming back from Amonkhet as well. So there should be a very powerful cycling deck in the format as well, and this is going to be one of those tools that they use to stay alive. So expect to see this a bit. And lastly, Manglehorn was at the time the premier artifact removal creature in the green decks. It destroyed a creature when it destroyed an artifact when it entered the battlefield, but then it made your opponent's artifacts enter tapped, which at the time was kind of nice because we were kind of coming off the back of Kaladesh and things like Aetherworks Marvel. Whether or not right now that has any major play, probably not. Unless there is, like something like Kethis combo or Underworld Breach combo comes into popularity. This will definitely be the sideboard card that hedges against that. Probably still better to kind of go after the graveyard, but in a world where you can stop them basically from comboing off with this card in one shot, that's not a bad place to be. So we may also see some other interesting artifacts come in this set as well too, and also we have Zendikar coming up here very shortly as well in about a month, so this might see some a good amount of play in Historic. So again, all the other cards are listed here for the green stuff through Destructoid, so this will be in the main article here. We'll be linking this in the description, as I mentioned before. The other one here is Eurogamer, and my goodness, they also have dropped some sweet bombs on us as well for what cards are coming in outside of the Amonkhet stuff. Wrath of God and Rest in Peace. Oh, incredible stuff. The control decks are going to love this. So we have a 2-mana answer to all graveyard stuff, which is great. Considering how heavily the format involves the graveyard at this point right now, with things such as Uro, such as Cat Oven, even when Amonkhet releases, we're going to have all of the Eternalize and Embalm creatures coming back from the graveyard. So Rest in Peace is going to be a great addition here. Wrath of God is just another one of those premier great 4-mana sweepers with basically literally no downside that the control decks really want to see. So this is exciting stuff to see here. Now Eurogamer did provide all of their pictures for their cards, and they have all the white cards for the set. So we're looking here. So we do have Angel of Sanctions, Anointer Procession, great. Anointer Priest, great for the tokens decks. Avid Mind Sensor is going to be great for like a Death and Taxes style deck. We are very close to having Death and Taxes kind of in Historic, and this is going to be a very big contributing factor to it potentially. Approach of the Second Sun is going to be awesome. Cast Out was one of the great exile enchantments of the time. Dust to Dawn, another removal spell. Gideon the Child is going to be huge as well, for kind of the control decks as well. We have some other interesting ones here. Hour of Revelation, Rest in Peace, as we saw. Also, Overwhelming Splendor, Oketra the True, Sacred Cat coming back is going to be great as well. Now, one thing that I'm not seeing here, Solemnity. Also very awesome as well, too. Solemnity is going to be great for the 9 lives Solemnity combo deck that we might see as well to kind of pop up here. So that's exciting. Also just has some various upside against things like +1/+1 counters, planeswalkers, etc. Now, one thing I am not seeing here, which I'm kind of surprised, I'm really actually kind of surprised that we're not seeing here, is Regal Caracal, which was kind of the Cat Lord that that I kind of half expected to be in the set, not here. So Cat's not getting. It might be that Cats would have been really, really powerful with Regal Caracal, but I mean, even in standard, Regal Caracal didn't see a ton of it really wasn't Cats wasn't like a tier 1 strategy or tier 2 strategy for that matter. It was really just kind of a fun, cute little thing that it was a casual deck for sure. So I'm very surprised that it didn't make the cut here. Now, one thing that they did say about this was that they wanted to have a good draft experience. So maybe that Regal Caracal didn't quite fit into the overall draft experience that they were kind of going for. So it's possible that's why it didn't get included. But seeing things like Rest in Peace and Wrath of God and Collected Company of all things, like there's tons of stuff in here that I'm surprised that they did include. But they just didn't include Regal Caracal, which I think a lot of people are going to be maybe a little upset about. But it is not a big deal. I personally think so. That's exciting, super cool stuff to see coming out. So predictions for what is to come. So we have the green and white cards already spoiled. We don't know kind of what the order is for the rest of them for the rest of the week. I couldn't even begin to guess what is coming from the other stuff here. So I guess interestingly enough, this would be something to look at here. Amonkhet Invocations. I wonder if those are specifically no, okay, so they aren't invocations from at least so far from Amonkhet. What about Hour of Devastation? Hour of Devastation invocations. Are these? Oh yeah, these are all here. So Rest in Peace was not on this list. Wrath of God was on this list. Collected Company was not on this list, and Hornet Queen is definitely not on this list. So I'm very interested. So some of these, there was some rumors about some of these being some cards from the invocations being put into the game. Wrath of God being one of those. So I'd be curious if there's were any of those were going to be the case here. I think there's some talk about Thoughtseize coming into the format, which is exciting, makes control very powerful. Otherwise, I think there's a ton of other cards in here. Maybe Vindicate might make it in. That's pretty strong. I can't expect any of the other ones here to really make it in though, because a lot of these are really powerful. Things like Armageddon, Omniscience is already in the game. I mean, they're printing Wrath of God, so they're not going to print Damnation. Consecrated Sphinx would be insane. I don't expect any of these counter spells, Counterspell, Cryptic Command, Daze, Force of Will, any of those to make an impact and negation. Definitely not. Stifle either. So there's There might be a few of these, but I'm very excited to see what other cards outside of Amonkhet that they decide that they want to put into the format. So leave me a comment down below what you guys think the cards will be for red, blue, black, and also if they're going to do like an artifact cycle or a couple of artifacts or a couple of multicolor cards that get put in addition to the cards from Amonkhet, like they're doing with the other colors. Let me know what you guys think about those. Smash the like, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys next time.